Welcome back to my channel today. Today's lesson is going to teach us how to make this beautiful gown you are seeing on the screen right now. Please, if you are new to this channel, kindly subscribe, turn on the notification bell to receive more videos like this each week. Like this video, drop your comments on the comment section and your suggestions too. So to begin this lesson, you have seen I've already drawn my border lines, and I'll be having one of these border lines as my shoulder lines. This is my shoulder line, and this border line will serve as my center front. I'm taking the vertical measurements of this gown, but I'm going to make the upper bodice first. Then I have a video on how to make the skirt, which I'll be dropping on the description box below, and also how to drap the basic sleeve. I'll be dropping 2 links for you, so you can visit it and learn how to drap your basic skirt and your sleeve. So I'm making the bodice on this pattern, the front and the back bodice. So like I earlier said, I'm taking my measurements starting right from my shoulder line, and I'll be dropping the measurements of my bust point, which I have at 10.5, my under bust, which I have at 10, my half length, which I have at 18. This half length of 18 is my front length, okay? When I'll be drafting my back length, my back bodies, I'll be using my back length, which is 16 inches. So in order to get a straight line right now, I'm going to repeat these measurements once again, 10 and a half, 14 and 18. Then I'll be squaring my line. Now you can see I have my lines already. This is my bust point. This is my under bust point measurement, my waist. Like I earlier said, I'm stopping this measurement on the waist because I have the skirt and I have the sleeve also, which I'll drop the link on the description box. Now the next measurement I'm taking is my shoulder measurement, which I have as 15 inches divided by 2, and I have 7.5. Now on the point of my 7.5, I'll be dropping my shoulder by 1 inch. I'll be taking my neckline as 3. That is my basic neckline. That is what I'm taking first. Now I have my 1 inch shoulder drop. I'm going to connect this 1 inch shoulder drop to my natural neckline. I have a natural neckline of 3 inches, which is standard. And from that point of 3 inches, I'll be connecting my line. Okay, now it's time to determine our chest line. And to determine this chest line, I'm going to divide my bust measurement of 39 inches. I'm dividing it by 1.5 plus 1, and I have 8 inches. Another way you can get your chest line is by dividing your arm, round armhole. Okay, you'll be taking the measurement of your round armhole firmly. Okay, whatever thing you have there, you'll be dividing it by 2. The measurement of my round armhole is 16 inches. If I divide it by 2, I still have 8 inches. So I'll be placing my tape on the shoulder drop, and I'll be coming down by 8 inches. To get a straight line, remember I have 1 inch here. Then I'm going to repeat the same 1 plus 8, and that is 9. That is to get a straight line. Okay, so I'll be I'll be squaring my line from this point. Okay, then the next thing I'll be doing is to transfer the shoulder measurement of 7.5 inches. I'll be transferring it on the chest line. Remember, this is my chest line, so I'll be transferring it on the chest line. At this point of my chest line, I'll be connecting to the arm, to the shoulder slope or the shoulder seam length. So you can see what I have right now. This is serving as my chest line. All right, having done this, I'm going to divide my armhole depth, which is 8 inches by 2. And at this point of the midpoint, I'll be going in by 0.75. Okay, so at this 0.75, I'll be connecting the 0.75 to the tip of my shoulder, and then I'll be taking the measurement of my bust divided by 4. Remember, I have a bust measurement of 39 inches, and I'll be dividing 39 by 4. I'm left with 9.75 or 9 3/4. So this is my 9 3/4 measurement, and I'm going to connect my 9 3/4 measurement right away with my my pattern master, the curvy part of it, you can see. So I have my front measurement. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to go over to the waist. I need to determine my waist measurement. I have a waist of 39 inches divided by 4. I'll be placing my tape on the waist, and you can see I have 9 inches. Now that I have the 9 inches, I'm going to place my bust pan. My bust pan is the measurement of the nipple to nipple measurement, which I have as 7 inches, and I'll be dividing the 7 inches right on the bust point. I have 3.5. I'll come over to the waist and I'll place the 3.5. And at this point of my 3.5, I'm going to rule a straight line. Okay, this is serving as my dart leg. So on this point of this dart leg, I'm going to impute my darts right now. For this particular outfit you are seeing on the screen, you can see that this gown has a shoulder dart. But I always advise to make use of a princess dart when you are making any garment that has shoulder. If it's an off shoulder, you can use a shoulder dart. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I'm going to demonstrate both the shoulder dart and the armhole princess dart. So whichever one you feel that is comfortable for you for this outfit, you can make use of it. Now, I'm going to demonstrate the shoulder dart first. But before that, I'm going to impute my waist dart. And I'm making a bustier. Please take note. I'm making a bustier princess dart and bustier shoulder dart. So for that reason, I'm going to take my measurements. First of all, I'm taking the measurement on the center front side. And I'm taking 0.5. I'm taking 0.5. I'll come down here by 1.5. I'll go up by 0.5. Can you see that? Okay, so now it's time to take my measurements this way. And on this side, I'm taking 1.5. I'll also take 1.5. Now I'm going to connect this to this to this. This is my bust point. I came down by 1.5. So I'm going to connect this point of 1.5 to my 0.5 inch. Can you see? And I'll take it straight down to my 0.5 inch for the waist. I'll also do the same back to this 1.5, and I'll come down by 1.5. Can you see that? Now remember, I told you I'm making a shoulder dart princess dart first. So for this shoulder dart princess dart, I'm working with my natural neckline, which is 3 inches. And on this point, I connected my shoulder slope. I'm going to divide whatever thing I have here by 2. Okay, you can see this is my division, and I'm making a mark. Now I'm going to connect the midpoint of this shoulder all the way to the bust point. Can you see that? This is what I have for my shoulder dart. So I'm going to, remember, I have my bust measurement and I need to impute my waist measurement. I have a waist of 36 inches, which I've already marked. Divide by 4 as 9. I'm going to replace these 2 inches of my dart intake. From the point of this 9, I'm adding 2 inches. So at this point, I'm going to connect these 2 inches. But before I do that, I connect this, I want to construct my princess dart. Remember, for this tutorial you can make use of any of these. I hope it will not confuse you, okay? Or better still, I might drop the description of how to make a princess dart bustier on the description box below. Let me just go by the shoulder dart so that I will not confuse anyone. All right, so now I'm going to add 0.5 inch of an ease. I'm going to add 0.5 inch of an ease to my bust. All right, so I'm going to connect whatever thing I have here. I'm connecting it to the extra 2 inches which I added for my waist. Okay, you can see that now I've connected it. Now the next thing I want to do is to add my bust dart. Remember, for the making of the back, which we'll be making after this, which I'll be drafting after this, I have my back length at 16 inches. My front length is 18 inches. I took the measurement of my front length from the shoulder to the waist as 18, which is front length. Then for my back, the measurement of my shoulder to my waist is 16. So this 18 inches, take away 16, I have 2 inches. That 2 inches is what we are making use of the bust dart. Like I earlier said, the front is longer, the front length is longer because of the bust. So from the bust point, I'm going to come down by 2 inches, as you can see. So and at this point of 2 inches, I'm going to connect these 2 inches all the way to the bust point. And I'm going to divide these 2 inches into 2. And I have 1 inch. Now I'm going to connect this 1 inch. And I will extend it by 0.5 to accommodate my dart. So you can see this is 0.5. So I'll be connecting for my dart accommodation. I'll be connecting this way back to the chest line. Okay, so this is what I have right now. So the next thing I'm going to do is to blend because there are no sharp points. So I have to blend. From the bust point, I'll be blending in, okay, to eliminate sharp points. Okay, we don't need sharp points at all. All right, so you make sure there's no sharp point by blending in. So after doing that, the next thing we are going to do right now, I'm going to close up this bust dart so as to have my shoulder dart. I've closed my bust dart and you have my shoulder princess dart to the shoulder. So the next thing I'm going to do is to connect that beautiful neckline that you are seeing. And to connect that beautiful neckline, wherever your chest line is, you can see this is my chest line. Okay, so I'm going to rule this line to the center front for the demonstration of this chest line. So for the demonstration of this neckline, so from the chest line I'll come up by 1 inch. So you can see I've extended my chest line to the center front. So whatever thing you have as your chest line, from that chest line go up by 1 inch. Coming to this shoulder line, you come in by 1 inch. Okay, that is the neckline connection you are seeing there. So I'm going to place my pattern master. You can see I'm connecting the 1 inch from the chest line and that of the shoulder. You can see that is the neckline you have right now. So as you can see this neckline, you can see the princess that is running across it. So that means we are not making use of this part. Okay, I'm going to cut off through this line to get my neckline. So now it's time for me to cut and close up my bust dart so we can have our shoulder dart. Let me cut for you to see. Alright, so if you feel that this neckline depth is very close to your bust area, that is for some people, you can also go up by 2 inches. Okay, although I've already started cutting off my pattern, but I just remember that some people do not want to expose their cleavage. So now I'm going to connect the 2 inches to the 1 inch, but remember that this from here to here is always 1 inch. Okay, you can make adjustments from the center front. So I'm going to use a dotted line. That is for those who want it their neckline higher, but if you want it a little lower, then you come up from your chest line by 1 inch. So what I'm going to do is to complete my cutting right now. So I'm going to cut through the broken line, then you choose whichever one that works for you. So now I'm cutting through this line. As you can see, make sure you don't have sharp edges like we earlier said. Okay, you cut off, you cut, and you are going to cut. Okay, sorry, we need to close our bust dart. Okay, so to close up my bust dart, I'm going to first of all cut off through my new neckline. You can see my new neckline like I just explained. So I'm going to cut off, then I'm cutting through my armhole because we need to open up this dart. Okay, so coming to this point, I'll be cutting through my bust accommodation. Alright, so I'm going to cut off the remaining part of this which I have not cut, which is the dart, following my bust. You can see that. Alright, so if you look at this shoulder seam, you can see what I have now. So if you look at this shoulder dart, I have to cut through this shoulder dart to enable me close my bust dart. So I'll be cutting through the shoulder all the way to the bust point. Please, once you get to the bust point, don't go beyond the bust point, although we've already gone beyond it. Okay, but there's no problem about that. So this is what I have now as my center front. This is my center front. Now I'm going to close up my bust dart, so I'll be cutting through. Okay, please don't cut off, just a little, then you close. Can you see how I'm closing? You allow it to align. Okay, so you can see I've closed up my bust dart. So this is my side front. Okay, so looking at this pattern right now, you can see we have the 2 inches here transferred to the shoulder. So all we need to do is to separate these two patterns and add a seam allowance of 0.5 on our fabric, 1 inch by the side. Then this side will be cut on fold. Okay, so I'm putting a cutting on fold sign so that you know you will cut it on fold. Then you also add 0.5 to your neckline. So if you are making use of this neckline, then all you need to do is to cut off. You can see the lines are already there. So this is all we have for the front bodies. Now let's jump to the back bodies. We are on to the back bodies right now. You can see I have my chest bust point, under bust waist. I duplicated those lines again. Now you have my shoulder, then I have my shoulder of 7.5, which is here, and I'll transfer the 7.5 back to the chest line. So I'm going to connect for my okay, so you can see my 8 inches armhole depth, the midpoint, which is 4 inches. I'll go in by 0.5 this time. Remember, I went in by 0.75 or 3/4 for the front, but for the back you go in by 0.5. Then we'll also connect. Taking our bust measurement, divide by 4, I'll be placing it on the chest line, and I have 9/3/4. So at that point of 9/3/4, I'll be connecting my armhole. Okay, so remember I added 0.5 of an inch of an ease. I'll add it back for the back. Then coming to the waist, I'll be taking my bust span of 3.5. and I'll take my bust span of 3.5, which I'll be connecting. You can see that for my dart. Now for the back, I'm taking a dart of 0.5, that's 1 inch, 0.5 shared, and I'll be connecting it. I need to connect this line to touch the chest line for the back. Okay, so some people might want to connect this their 0.5 to the chest, but for this tutorial I'll be coming down by 1 inch for my dart connection. So I'll be placing to create my dart. Alright, so the next thing I'll be doing is to take my waist measurement, divide by 4. I have a waist of 36. This is my 9 inches. I'll be adding my 1 inch dart. You can see that. So I'm going to connect my side seam. You can see my side right now. So I have my back bodies ready right now. So you can make use of these back bodies this way. You can also use a princess dart or a shoulder dart. Okay, so but because we have demonstrated how to make use of, okay, let me use the shoulder dart also, since we are making use of that in the front. So remember, whatever thing you have, you'll be dividing the midpoint. You can see how I'm dividing it, then you mark your midpoint. So at this midpoint, all you need to do is to connect it this time to the, you are connecting it to the your dart, okay, where you have the starting up of your dart. You can see that. All right, so having done that, what we are going to do now is to create our neckline. So remember that the neckline you have for the front, you either use it or you use another style. But for the purpose of this tutorial, I want to come up by 2 inches for the neckline for the back. So I'll be connecting it to the 1 inch. Okay, the 1 inch is always 1 inch. Remember, whatever thing you have from here to here for any neckline, that is also what you have for the front. Two of them has to be the same. So I'll be connecting my neckline for the back. I came up a little bit by 2 inches. Alright, so now it's time to cut off this pattern because we are through. But if you don't want to make use of the shoulder dart, you can leave only the waist dart. It's okay. But remember that there is no seam allowance added at all to this pattern, please. But before we take off, remember there is a zip. We have a 1 inch zip. If not, we will not be able to zip that cloth. We will not be able to wear the clothes. So I'll be squaring at this point of my neckline. You can see the 1 inch, and I'll square here also. Now I'm going to go in by 0.5 because the human body back is not as straight as you are seeing it here. So I'm going to contour or tighten my back. Okay, you can see how I'm doing that. So now I've taken away 0.5. You can see the 0.5, and I'm replacing it because the 0.5, if I take my 1 inch zip, that will be shortening this measurement. So I'll be adding it back, my 1 inch. Then I'm going to create my new connection from my chest to my waist. Okay, this is my new connection. So that is all we need to do before we cut off. So I'll be cutting off this pattern, and I want you to watch as I cut. So I want you to see what I'm doing here. I'm going to cut off. Can you see? I'm cutting off this, and I will discard it because that is our back tightening. We don't need it. Now I'm going to cut through my neckline. You can see how I'm cutting. I cut straight, then you can see now I'm cutting through the shoulder seam of 1 inch. Then I'm cutting through my armhole. Alright, so I'll be following the added, remember the one we cut off, that's the one we added here right now. Okay, you can see that. Now if you don't want your shoulder dart, make use of your dart, just hold your dart. But for this tutorial, I'll be cutting off because we've already created our shoulder dart for the back. So I want to also remind you that my back is 16 inches. Remember, my back length is 16 inches. Okay, so because the back length is shorter than the front length, so this is what I have for this beautiful pattern. You can see this pattern is actually lovely and beautiful. Okay, so there is no seam allowance added to this pattern at all. All you need to do is to add your 0.5 to join these two. You add your 1 inch for your side, your 0.5 inch all through. We have a zip there already, so you will not add anything. So this is all about this pattern you are seeing on the screen. But one thing is remaining. Like I said, we need our skirt to fuse to this body. Okay, so I'll be dropping the description on how to make a basic skirt on the description box below. All you need to do is to carry your skirt and attach your skirt back and your skirt front. Now I want to work on the sleeve. Alright, so you can see I have my basic sleeve also, which I'll also drop the description on the link on the description for you. If you look at that outfit, it has a basic sleeve, then it has some gathers. Okay, so looking at this my basic sleeve right now, I'll be taking the measurement from here to here, and this is my measurement right now, 7 inches. So because I have that ruffle, you can see how ruffled is looking. So I'm going to gather it. So I have 7 inches. If I just create a 7 inches, it will just be a band. So what am I going to do? I'm going to multiply this 7 inches by 3. 7 times 3 is 21. It depends on your choice. You can multiply 7 by 2 if you don't want the ruffles to be much. If you really want the ruffles to be much, you can use 7 times 2.5. So 7 times 2.5, we'll be having 7 plus 7 is 14, half of it 3.5, that is 17.5. So let me pretend measuring this as my fabric. 17.5, you can see my 17.5, that is when I'm timesing my 7 by 2.5. okay, so let me take 17.5. okay, so I'll be cutting off this side. It's not part of my ruffle. Okay, so I'm going to cut it off. This length of my sleeve here, okay, my sleeve hem edge is okay. Before I do that, you remember that the measurement of that sleeve you are seeing is on the bicep. Okay, so I took my bicep sleeve, which is 8 inches. okay, I'm attaching my bicep to the ruffle. So whatever bicep you have, make sure you draft on your bicep the basic sleeve, whatever length you have. That's the biggest part of your arm, that is your bicep. So whatever thing you add, that is where you are going to get this measurement from. So I have 7 inches for this sleeve. So I multiplied 7. This is 7 inches. On this pattern, I'm multiplying 7 inches by 2.5. And I have 17.5. You can see that. So the length of this sleeve is 17.5. That is 17.5. Then you can see that ruffle got up to your elbow. So you'll be taking your elbow measurements. Okay, so I'll be taking from my taking my elbow measurement. Okay, so I have my elbow measurement here. I have 12. Okay, so at this point of 12, okay, I'll be folding this. So this is the length I want. I'm taking this as an example. Okay, wherever you see the length of that sleeve, just take the length of your sleeve. So I'm taking the length of that sleeve as 12 inches for example. And now I have folded my fabric because it's on fold. Okay, so remember that this side is open. It should also be unfold. So I'm putting the unfold sign so that you know that you'll be folding your fabric at this point. So at this edge, I'm going to make my ruffle. Can you see? I'm making my ruffle. So on my machine, I'm going to gather. So all of these, I will gather them. All right, so you can see my ruffle right now. I've pretended putting this, ruffling it into this pattern right now, the sleeve. Okay, so this is all about this outfit, people. Thank you very much for watching. If you are new to my channel, please kindly subscribe, turn on your notification bell to receive more videos like this. Like this video, share to family and friends, drop your comments on the comment section and your suggestions as well. Thank you very much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.